Let's talk about something that kills contractors slowly. Overhead that no one accounts for until it eats the year-end profit. You've got an office lease, admin staff, insurance, software, trucks, phones, fuel, subscriptions, and oh yeah, your salary. All of it needs to be paid for, whether you win one job or 50. So here's the question. Is every project doing its part to carry that load? Or are your best jobs carrying the dead weight? That's what the overhead recovery rate per job tells you. So what is it? Well, you calculate the overhead recovery rate by taking the total overhead and dividing it by the number of jobs. A simple breakdown is your total overhead, which is all indirect business expenses not tied to a single job. And then number of jobs, that's obviously your completed project over the same period, usually a year at a time. So if your overhead for the year is $500,000 and you completed 25 jobs, 500,000 divided by 25 is $20,000. That means each job must recover 20,000 of overhead before you make a single dime of profit. Now here's the scary part. If you're not adding that number to every bid, you're building for free. So here's a job site analogy. Think of your overhead like a big communal pie. If you do 25 jobs a year, each job needs to bring back a slice big enough to feed the back office. But if 3 jobs bring home giant slices and 7 jobs bring back crumbs, you're starving the business and masking it with busy. Busy does not mean profitable. Jobs aren't carrying their share of overhead, they're draining the system. So what's a good target? Well, it depends on your size and structure, but here's a way to think about it. Track your total annual overhead. Divide it by your average job count or revenue goal. Use that number to bake overhead into every estimate. If your average job can't handle its share of overhead, it shouldn't be on the calendar. Some companies also express this as a overhead percent of revenue, which is simply your overhead divided by your total revenue multiplied by 100. Either way, you need to recover it or you're building at a loss. So here's a real contractor example. I had a general contractor who was killing himself doing 40 small jobs per year. His total overhead, $520,000. Jobs completed, 40. That meant his overhead recovery ratio per job, 13,000. Problem? He was bidding some jobs at $7,000 overhead recovery and barely making it back. A few bigger jobs floated the rest. End of the year, looked like he made $2.6 million in revenue, but net profit, $9,800. He wasn't running a company, he was spinning a hamster wheel. So we made some changes, bid every job with a minimum $13,000 overhead load, shifted focus to jobs with higher margin potential. We cut 6 tiny clients that consistently underperformed. We tackled actual recovery per project. The next year, his revenue was $2.2 million. 28 jobs, his overhead recovered per job to $19,000 plus. Net profit, $212,000. Fewer jobs, more money, less burnout. So how to use overhead recovery rate in your business? Well, number one, I would say calculate your true annual overhead. Be honest. Include everything not tied to a single job. Number two, know your average number of jobs per year. Divide overhead by job count. That's your target per job. Number three, add overhead recovery into every estimate. Don't just assume margin will absorb it. Allocate it. Number four, monitor recovery per job post-completion. Did the job carry its weight or ride for free? And number five, use this to weed out low-value clients or jobs. If the job can't support overhead, it's not profitable. So here's the final word. Every job must carry its share, or someone else is carrying it. That someone is usually you, or your top crew, or your last profitable project. And eventually, they get tired. So ask yourself, is every job I take on helping to carry the business or quietly dragging it down? Because in construction, you're not just building for the client, you're building to cover the cost of staying in business. And if your overhead doesn't get recovered, you'll stay busy, but you'll never stay profitable.